We are racing, so triathlon fans, we have 100 kilometers of super fast swim, bike, run here in Milwaukee for the PTO US Open. $600,000 is up for grabs here today, as well as lucrative PTO points.
As we get into transition, and actually one other thing to note is that Taylor usually puts socks on in transition, so she does usually have a little bit of a slower transition than the other ladies because she opts to put socks on before the bike. Most of the athletes generally don't do that until T2.
Okay, well, let's see the ladies exit. Some of them were fiddling with their equipment yesterday. We see that Lauren's happy to run with her goggles on, but a few of the guys yesterday were having some issues seeing and sighting as they went around, but they will jump back into the water. It is slippy out there at points.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a chicane around the top. We saw some of the men slip around, and then as they came onto the pontoon, actually, there was kind of a bit of a sharp right turn, sorry. But Taylor, yeah, just trying to get around this section as quickly as possible. But again, I think she's going to be a couple of seconds behind Lauren diving into the water. It looks like Beck Clark might be a couple of seconds behind as well. There's Paula Findlay on screen right now.
Yes, Paula Findlay in the yellow cap. And look out for Ashleigh Gentle in the orange cap.
It looks like 37 to 39 seconds for Ashleigh Gentle and Paula Findlay, so that's a dangerous duo, those two on the bike together.
And the big development is the Ashleigh Gentle-Paula Findlay group is actually only about 12 to 15 seconds down on Taylor. So Taylor has leaked a bit of time here leading that second chase group on the second lap. I think the big thing is this race, this swim couldn't have played out better than, this is perfect scenario for Ash Gentle. She's got Paula Findlay in that group with her. She's got Ali Salthouse in that group with her. They're both going to work on the bike, and Ashleigh can just sit in there and maybe pull a few turns, but she'll probably rely pretty heavily on Paula Findlay there to do the work. I don't expect them to catch Taylor. I still think Taylor might ride away here, but dream scenario for Ash.
You've got your nutrition dialed in so that you don't have those issues on race day.
Yeah, well, here comes Lauren Brandon. She and her husband, Barrett, a former professional triathlete as well, now loves his bikes. She's getting herself set. What's she doing here?
So a lot of the men yesterday opted to have their kits up, and that was where Jan had his issues. So he didn't have his kit up. He said he only received his kit at 3 p.m. in the afternoon before the race, and so it didn't sort of fit well enough to swim in. So he opted to have it down, and he was pulling it up in transition, and he was so busy trying to get it on correctly that he forgot to take his swim skin off. Taylor Knibb's got to do the same thing here. Beck Clark is not going to, because clearly she has her suit already up and not have to worry about that. So Taylor Knibb has opted to have it down as well. And then you see Hayley Truder coming out, and she could see her sleeves in the swim, so she is not going to have that issue either. So Taylor Knibb will be sort of trying to get this kit on. Lauren Brandon's done it beautifully. She clearly has practiced that. Yes, taking the swim skin off, and she'll be onto the bike and off. But again, I think the athletes, the ideal scenario is that they have their suit up and on correctly before they get to the bike, so that when they get to the bike, they're not losing any time. They're just basically throwing the speed skin in the bin, and then off they go.
And you predicted a slower transition for Taylor Knibb. Ashleigh Gentle only 9 seconds behind Taylor Knibb out of T2. So it's a good start to the day for Australia's Ashleigh Gentle.
Right, Taylor just goes from the gun, and she already has got about 10 seconds on Ashleigh as we see her making the pass on Lauren Brandon now.
So Taylor Knibb making quick work of that 30 seconds. This is still on the first out straight away, and they do have 7 laps of this bike course. So 11.4 kilometre per lap. When they're out of the saddle like this, they're really pushing pretty big watts. So really attacking. Ellie Salthouse on camera here. She's sort of trying to overtake Ash while Paula Findlay is overtaking both of them. So this is going to be sort of a tricky dynamic for these women here, because they do have 45 seconds to get to the wheel in front. And right now, as Ash has passed, she'll have to drop back. She'll have 45 seconds to drop back outside that 20-meter draft zone. And Ellie now also has to drop back outside of Paula Findlay's 20-metre draft zones.
As you see Ash Gentle just here behind Paula Findlay, you'll see Taylor Knibb. That's Taylor Knibb's motorbike there, right there as they make the pass. So they'll get a little bit of an idea about the distance between each other. For the record, that's about 1:30, which is 35k into the bike. Taylor would have expected that to be bigger. What we're seeing play out here with this group of Paula Findlay, Ash Gentle, Ali Salthouse, India Lee, this is the perfect scenario for all of these girls behind Taylor. 1:30 down, 35k into the bike. You know, great runners like Ashleigh Gentle and really consistent runners like India Lee in this group. They couldn't have dreamed for a better scenario than how this is playing out right now. We're at almost 50k into the bike ride, and I wonder. I did think I saw Taylor's dad on the side of the course back a little bit further. So I did wonder if she saw that gap and decided to make a little bit of a move. She does look like she's working really hard at the moment, and you don't just get 5 seconds per K over 5k on this kind of field without making a decision. Okay, now it's time to push. So I do wonder if in her head she has made that decision. Okay, now it's my time. Like, I've got to go now because that gap's not big enough.
India Lee making a pass here. She might have to make a pass on all of the women here. Yeah, she might have to go right to the front. So we'll see.
Just going back to Lucy, she had a frustrating day out in Ibiza. She DNF'd, apparently a panic attack in the swim after the first swim loop. So good to see her out persevering here onto the bike, and let's see what damage she can do through the rest of the race.
Very interesting to see India Lee taking a turn here. She's sort of been happy to sort of sit in that 4th, 5th position on the bike, and now she's decided she feels good. She wants to push the pace, or maybe she's decided it's a little too slow.
Seeing what these splits are into T2, and I guess leading into this with Taylor entering T2 here, we probably expected her to have maybe even triple the lead that she has now, 2, 3, 4 times a bigger lead than she has now. And I think maybe even Taylor expected that. So being inside Taylor's head here, what she's going to think when she sees these girls coming into T2, because they will enter T2 probably right as she's about to leave it or as she's just leaving it, that would be a very interesting place to be inside her head, because she's not used to a situation like this. It hasn't happened in Longhurst for her forever, really.
I think we just did see, though, her dad show her, because I saw her nod her head, and you saw a man holding the whiteboard. So she knows exactly how far behind they are. She knows that distance, and obviously she's been watching it closely for the whole race. So I don't think she's going to be surprised. She's just kind of like, okay, it is what it is. Now I've got to execute a great run to stay ahead for as long as possible. This is Lucy Byram, coming in. She'll take that Camelback out as soon as she gets into transition and discard that so that she's not running with it. Yeah, obviously a very strong cycle leg for her. I believe second fastest cycle leg on the day. Paula Findlay hopping off now. But yeah, Lucy Byram, as you said, with that injury. Sometimes when athletes have a bit of a run injury, then they end up just working their bike so hard, and then they come in and they're phenomenally fast on the bike. Ashleigh Gentle hops off the bike, and we'll see what this split is, but only 90 seconds from Taylor Knibb to Lucy Byram.
So it's 2:48 from Ash Gentle to Taylor Knibb.
Wow, yeah, that's much less, obviously, than we thought. We saw this gap sort of form in the first sort of 4 laps, and it hasn't gone any further at all. So these women have ridden very well, and Ash Gentle really having a phenomenal race. And as we said, she's peaked for this race. She has targeted these races, is in great shape, and yeah, one of the fastest runners in the field as well. She just said there.
Up until this point, T2, this is the best PTO race Ashleigh Gentle's had in her life. Keep in mind, she's won 2 of them, come second in another. So yeah, that's saying a lot. Now can she finish the race? Can she get to the front of the race?
Ellie Salthouse cramping. Oh, no.
Different quad to Christian Blumenfeld yesterday.
The right quad too.
But exactly the same position.
Come on, Ellie.
You see Ashleigh Gentle has moved into second place. She is stepping on the gas. She's doing what we know she can do. And she's going to make this race a lot more uncomfortable for Taylor Knibb.
We have really seen this fight back here between kilometre 4 and now about kilometre 7 into this run. Taylor Knibb is running basically the same pace as Ashleigh Gentle, only about 1 or 2 seconds per kilometre slower. I mean, I don't think anyone expected to see that fight back. Taylor Knibb is just special. She's the 70.3 world champion. We saw what she did off only 3 weeks of running at the PTO US Open last year, and I think we are just seeing an absolutely special athlete in Taylor Knibb do something absolutely special.
That 5 of 5. Ashleigh Gentle's just posted 13.19. So she's kicking on, but let's see the response from Taylor Knibb, who looks down at her watch again. There's the smile. Or maybe not. Maybe I went too early. Surely there's going to be some emotion from Taylor Knibb now, the current number 6 in the world. She was second at the US Open in 2022. She has brought it home. The American on home soil is the winner of the US Open here in Milwaukee. It is a fantastic and excellent A-star performance from Taylor Knibb. What an athlete we see before us. Well, Ashleigh Gentle, she takes the sunnies up. She comes in with the support. Now there's a big smile. So consistent at this 100-kilometre distance. She is often the one to beat. She is coming home in second place. Outstanding performance again from Ashleigh Gentle. And she will go over to Taylor Wells. Certainly Taylor Knibb will go over to Ashleigh Gentle. A great rivalry there between those two athletes, Jack. Smiles as she comes down. What a tough race with the strength of field. She has tasted what it's like to stand on the PTO Tour podium in her home country of Canada. She gets another opportunity to do that here. She has raced her way to third here at the PTO US Open. Congratulations, Paula Findlay. A big smile as she crosses the line.